Alright, we're just doing one of these soft-spoken rambles with a mic test to test out about this mic on the daily49 uh, gaming headset, as it's called. It's earbuds, but they're calling it a gaming headset because it's a Bluetooth mic, so you know it's going to sound uh, like something. And so far here, I did do a quick audio test for a video I'm doing. Um, that features these in it. And so I have an idea that this already sounds very muffled and boomy, so it's not going to sound great. Uh, but since it's considered a gaming headset, I figured why not just ramble somewhat aimlessly and slowly about another gaming thing, because I can make that sound boring enough to fall asleep to, right? Um, and I will also apologize already if I accidentally am making weird noises adjusting these. I feel like they probably will still fall out of my ears. I feel like it's for whatever reason they any earbuds I wear, it's almost like my right ear is just immune to them. It's like no, don't don't put things inside me. So like it's tough. Um, but yeah, I will say at least I think these kind of sound like they're at least trying to get rid of some background noise. Um, automatically themselves. So there's that at least. So the ramble is going to be about game controllers. The gaming thing here is I've gotten kind of annoyed with stick drift. That's the big thing that all this kind of revolves around. So essentially, stick drift, if you're unfamiliar, is when you're you're trying to play a game and your control stick is just like keeps moving in a direction without you pushing it. You're not like trying to make it move that way. It just goes that way, or you let go and it's still moving. You're not touching it at all and it starts moving that way. That kind of thing. It's just drifting in a direction that you're not really inputting yourself. And to kind of explain that, the best that I understand it is essentially that they have the mechanism is usually like potentiometers, I think is what it is. Essentially, there's stuff inside. The way they can sense this is that I believe it's something like this, like a central position, and then like you move once so much is like the sensitivity is like how much it moves in a direction in a certain way. Eventually gets detected, and like at different points, it's like more and more or whatever. I don't know the full like mathematics and science behind it. Um, but what generally happens is that a lot of times these will get like dirty, things will build up in there and whatever, and so over time when that happens, um, it kind of makes it a little bit off kilter, so it's not sitting directly center anymore. And so a lot of times when it's supposed to recenter, it doesn't go all the way back. And so it's eventually just moved enough away from the center to count as being, moving in a direction at all times. And you could try to like clean these or replace them or, do calibration things. There's lots of ways to try and work around it, but um, it's something that's just it is going to kind of happen with most of these controllers over time. And I would be fine with that if it was happening over time more, because like I had it happen when I was younger before too, right? I've had it happen with like PS2 controllers, and that makes sense because like when I used PS2 controllers, they I use them like uh sorry, I'm looking at my waveform and I'm trying to make sure this is actually coming out of my earbuds and not coming out of the phone itself. And I can't really tell. I think it is. Yeah. Okay. So if I tap this, yeah. So basically, I guess like yeah, but like PS2 controllers had them for a while before they started doing that. And like that happened with PS3 controllers. Again, had them for a while, and that's when it started happening. But I've gotten more annoyed with controllers doing it when they're not even that old, when they're fairly new. And particularly things like, the Switch Joy-Cons, which are notorious for this, have, um, I had a pair that I got with the console, and I didn't use them for like the first month or something, I think, at least for a few weeks of like playing because I was just using my Pro controller instead. So they just really sat in the box, brand new. And then when I finally decided to break them out to play something, I probably used them for maybe a few days, and then they developed drift. Um, and that was not cool. I ended up getting another pair, and they did pretty well for about a year, and then they developed drift. Um, and so I tried to fix those ones, and they didn't didn't work. I didn't do a good job of it. I couldn't get it back together, and I couldn't. I ended up basically trashing the one Joy-Con, and then I was like, all right, screw it. Out of curiosity, I tried pulling out the old Joy-Cons because I'm like, well, maybe it's in this on this one working Joy-Con. Maybe the other one doesn't have drift anymore because I couldn't remember which one was drifting when I put them away. I don't think it was both. I took them back out and they worked fine. Weirdest thing, I don't know why, but I wasn't complaining. I was like, I'll use them. And those are the ones I still usually will. Uh, Actually, no, I'll say those ones I usually use. But I have another pair sitting over here. I don't believe are the ones, yeah, because the ones I got were the gray ones with it. So I must have got another pair at some point as well. Um, I don't remember doing that either. Um, so, but yeah, it's not ideal to have to keep doing that, especially with a new system. Now, my Pro controller, Switch Pro controller, no problems at all. Funny enough, I did get like a replacement, like third party, kind of a crazy thing for the Switch that you can like slide the whole console into, and it's like it makes it once one big thing you hold, and it's kind of it makes it almost like ergonomically like a Wii U gamepad, which is maybe a bit silly and crazy. Also, this thing was very cheap, and among other things, and it was worse in the sense that the sticks worked fine. They didn't drift, but they had this issue where they just quit. Like the one stick would stop registering anything except for diagonally up, right, and diagonally down left. That went away randomly for a while, and then they came back again. I don't know. I don't know why those things would happen, but they did. Um, the other thing is like uh, the thing recently that was really the catalyst, though, this straw that broke the camel's back was the controller I got with my Xbox Series X because that's still fairly new. It's like I think it's been within a year of having it still, something close to that. It has, oh, it developed drift while I was playing Power Wash Simulator, and it did not want to work. It didn't want to work with me. I tried recalibrating it, and it didn't work. It was drifting pretty bad, like weirdly so, out of nowhere. Which like maybe dust got in there because it just sat around because anything sits out anywhere. Even if you're using it every day, it still collects dust somehow magically. I don't know how it does, but this is not a horribly old or worn out controller, not an old system. It's something you probably should have figured out by now. And these controllers aren't cheap either. And really frustrating because I was actually starting to get into it. I was sketchy about the whole shield style D-pad thing, but it was actually really nice. And the feel of the thing, I was liking the buttons. I was liking using headphones with it. I was really starting to be like, wow, this is actually a really nice controller. And then that happened. So That kind of killed it. And so that's when I decided, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I want to get a controller that won't have this issue. I've been hearing all about these Hall effect sticks. There's also these things for like TMRS or something like this. Some formation of letters like that is supposed to be like a similar type of thing. And both of them have essentially this different type of technology in them for being these control sticks. So instead of using potentiometers in there, what they use is magnets, and so it like detects like magnetic like waves and stuff in there, uh, and they use that to calculate the position uh, of the stick. So because of this, it's much less likely to ever develop drift. Some say it won't ever. I don't think that's true. Also, there are other things that can make them drift and have issues, particularly electronic and magnetic things can like interfere with it potentially. That can happen, I suppose, but it's just a lot more reliable, a lot less likely to have problems. And after this happened, I was starting to see that okay, this is why people are raving about this so much that I've been seeing is because that's stuff that's been around for a while, and that can fix a really annoying and really common issue that's becoming even more and more of a problem because now you're basically looking at like, well, if I don't want to, move on to something like that, well, then I have to look at, then I have to just look at like third-party controllers that don't have it anyway, and like look at those. But a lot of these aren't even that much more expensive than some of the other options you're getting. A lot of these are still cheaper than the first-party ones that don't have those sticks. Um, and so I kind of went on this hunt. I'm like, I want to have the be all end all best controller for this. I want to get one controller that I can connect to my Xbox, my Switch, um, you know, maybe my PC slash Steam Deck as well, but at least my Xbox and my Switch. So I just have one controller for kind of all of my stuff, and not have to worry about drift at all. And that'll be real fun, happy day, good stuff. That apparently does not exist, and the reason for that, well, I don't know the actual reason behind the main reason behind that is that they have different inputs for like Xbox and Nintendo. Um, PC and mobile can kind of work around that, I think, but um, there's like essentially like Xbox uses X input, um, so that's kind of determining what buttons are mapped to where and like this layout thing of how it's designed and how it communicates with stuff. Again, I'm not a professional, I'm not a expert on this, so I can't explain super well. You probably have to look some of this up or find like a smart video about it. But it's kind of like a pinout or like a instruction, like a thing that's just like here's a diagram and it's like button number one, button two, button three, and they'll be labeled, and all the buttons on the controller have these different like labels of like what's button one, two, three, four, five, etc. And with something that has an X input, the way the buttons are numbered is different than something like a Nintendo controller, which uses D input. So they're going to be incompatible with one another. Um, Now, I also don't know why there's not a way to like make a controller that can switch between those two things. Maybe there is, and I haven't seen it. Um, but I feel like that would fix this issue as well. Um, but yeah, so the first controller that didn't quite exist. So I ended up settling for a controller for my Xbox because I figured that's the one where the controller went out. My Switch Pro controller still works fine. I mean, that thing has been through a lot of me getting pissed off and like hitting it, wrenching it, throwing it. That thing's pretty good. It hasn't drifted this entire time. Maybe that's how you keep it from drifting, is you keep beating the shit out of it, it knocks all the dirt and dust out of the controller area, so it won't like build up in there. I don't know, but maybe I'm just lucky there. Um, so uh, I I I got the Xbox controller here, and I was having on over which one to get, and I ended up picking the. Do I still have the box for this thing? I think I do. So many controller boxes hanging out over here. That one is the Ultimate C wired controller for Xbox by 8-Bit Do. Um, People call it 8-Bit Do, like Nintendo. I don't know which is the real thing, so I call it as I do. I reads it like I sees it. Um, and I went for this one because a few reasons. One is because it was well, it is like as wired because I don't really mind that. I kind of sometimes like it better. I don't have to worry about the battery and stuff on things. That could be a big deal, but also it brought the price down. I don't know how much it. Remember how much it cost on the top of my head? It was not a super expensive thing, but yeah, still. Um, I think because it didn't have like a whole lot of frills, there aren't like you know, um, there's not like uh, there's not back buttons. Um, there's like I don't have to worry about like setting up, your macros and stuff or whatever, and like I don't know, like, there's not a lot of like bells and whistles. It does have like lights in it, little light rings around the sticks. You can shut those off if you want to, though. So like, that's cool. It's kind of just wanted to be controller. Ergonomically, it does feel it's almost a little, probably a little more smaller, and a little more rounded than like a typical Xbox controller, but it's not too far off, which is good. I was happy about that. Um, and it's got, yeah, Hall effect sticks, like I wanted. The D-pad is, it's a little, it's weird. The D-pad is like a kind of a weird mix between like, it has like a it has like a mushy click to it almost. Like it's a very dull, like a silenced click, like a very dampened click to the directions when you push them. So it feels weird, but it performs well. So I'm not really too upset about it. I believe this one also just has regular buttons instead of like the memory buttons are not mechanical buttons on these, which is fine. I think the triggers though are Hall effect. Um, and still has the audio port in there to plug headphones or like a headset into it or whatever. And so far, I'm pretty happy with it. I've used it on my it's been on my Xbox. I've used it actually on my Steam Deck also, and it works on both because it's just wired. Actually, weirdly, a lot of Xbox controllers or controllers that will work with Xbox for some reason need to be plugged in. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because of like a licensing thing or something, or just the proprietary like wireless connection. I don't know, but yeah, a lot of them I saw were like it works with Xbox if you plug it in, but won't do it wirelessly for some reason. Also, they came with a month of Game Pass Ultimate, which I gave away because I don't think I would play enough even in 1 month of playing nothing else with my Xbox to really take advantage of Game Pass Ultimate, so I didn't bother. Um, thing is, I also got um, another controller. This one was a gift. Um, Oops, I'm fiddling with my boxes here. And this one is the other brand I was hemming and hawing about before I went with 8-Bit Do because everyone was like, you should get them because they know them and they're good. This one is the Game Sir Nova 2 Lite, and this one actually is a Switch controller. Um, and this one has like um, a bit more of the bells and whistles to it. It has the back buttons, but it's got the little receiver on it. You can do Bluetooth or wired or a receiver thing. You connect any of those ways. And this one, I don't think the buttons are. Do they? I don't know if the buttons are mechanical on this one or not. I feel like no, they're membrane. Okay, I thought so. But it does still have holodeck sticks. It has sort of the shield design of the D-pad on here, which is weird because that, and ergonomically speaking, and with the button layout, it actually feels like I'm using an Xbox controller on my Switch now, which is weird. You can actually put in a thing that swaps the buttons too, because weirdly, like I said, the face buttons are laid out like Xbox style, but if you just start playing your Switch like that, A will still be A and B will still be B, which is easy to identify when games say hit A or B or X or Y or whatever. But when games just show a little diamond of buttons, it's going to be confusing because they're not going to be in the right place. So I did a little thing to swap them, the software thing. So I probably won't be using this. Well, unless it does undoes it when you use another thing. I don't know. You have to set it to different modes for different things. But yeah, basically I could play this. You know, I play this on Switch. I could play it on like PC or I could play it on my phone. But I'm probably just going to use it for that unless I feel the need to use it on the other systems as well. Also, these have Hall effect triggers as well, just like 8-bit do, but these ones also have little things where you can like tailor them so they can like either be shallow presses or like deeper presses. Flip of a switch to see how far you have to push it for it to actuate and like stop. Um, in this one, I believe. Actually, I don't know. No, I can't remember. This one I think actually is. Something like that. Does this have lights in it too? And how I don't remember. I feel like it might not, but it also might. I can't remember. Either way, that doesn't really matter because I don't really need the lights in them. So it might. I mostly just use it to play, test it out on Doom plus Doom 2 mainly so far, but um, and they've both been really nice. The sticks feel good, and maybe I've had to change sensitivity in a couple things because they're a little bit higher than I used to. And that's another thing you can get out of stuff like this too, is how effects can have, better like dead zones for that then too, because you don't have to worry about compensating as much for the drift in that sense. So you can have a potentially improved performance. I say potentially because I'm probably not the level of player where I will notice that or that it will matter and make a difference, but in theory, that's a thing. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the whole moral of the story relating to that is basically like you can like have you can have better sticks for your games and have them not drift. Hall effect sticks can do that, and again, like replacements exists. You can open stuff up and clean them and that kind of stuff, but it's probably like not a bad idea to start looking at controllers that just have them. Especially if your first party pack and controllers start going kaput, you're probably going to be able to get superior features at less money. Um, with a lot of these other ones. Now, obviously, something like Joy-Cons are a little more difficult to replicate, but if you're looking at more of like the standard controllers, like the Pro controllers and whatnot, um, any of those, you pretty easily find reasonable replacements that are good quality, extra features, and have the stuff that'll help them last. But of course, these are still new, so we'll see how long they do last. I'll report back later if they have problems. And hopefully I'll report back later at some point also, even if they don't, just so people know where all that landed. But I think that's enough for this weird little ramble. Hopefully you guys aren't too annoyed with the no video, just talking things for some of these while I test out mics on things. Makes it easier with, especially things that are like Bluetooth ones, just connecting to my phone and do this. Um, I guess the wired ones I could connect to it as well, but yeah, we'll see what you guys think. And yes, that's it for today.